Here is my review of James Gunn's Superman. Welcome to Films Under Your Bed. I'm Wesley McCraw, an indie author. Today I'm going to talk about Superman, James Gunn directed 2025 version. I thought that this was a very fun, wonderful movie that does a lot of difficult things and makes it generally look easy. The movie starts with Superman crashing into the snow, incapacitated from losing his first fight. This very quickly establishes that Superman isn't invulnerable. He can get beat up and bleed. He can get internal injuries. He also has a dog that is misbehaved. He has the Fortress of Solitude is already something he's discovered. He knows about his parents sending him to Earth. A lot of the basic things are set up about Superman in really a few moments. What's great about this film is it starts in the middle of the action, and since you've seen a million versions of Superman, it doesn't take much to get caught up to where the story is. It has a little bit of an information at the beginning that sets up where it is in the timeline and the storyline. But a lot of the beginning is to establish how this Superman is a little different than the Superman that you've seen in other versions. So you're always piecing together information about the world and how it's set up. And it does this in a very economical way, a very effortless way, I think. It seems like it's easy, but it's establishing so many things and complex relationships in such an efficient way that I was super impressed with the writing of this film. It has to do jokes, it has to world build, it has to establish complex relationships between huge amounts of characters, and it does this in a way that isn't confusing, catches you right up, and at the same time, all of these characters are super well cast and well acted, and given just enough lines and screen time so that you form an opinion about them. These characters are very likable. It feels like they've had relationships for a long time. You very much understand Clark and Lois's relationship. Really, from one extended scene, they're able to create the drama, the stakes for the relationship. You like who they are as people. All of that groundwork in the first half an hour. It's a lot to take in, but it's respects the audience that they're going to pick up on visual clues and subtext to build the world in their own heads and understand like the forces and motivations at play. On top of all this, it's also establishing how nice and caring and good Superman is. Not in a way that's like God or something like that. He's very human. He has flaws. He's trying to do his best, but that's a difficult thing to do in the real world. I think all of that is great. It focuses on the importance of human beings and animals as things that are worth saving and protecting. It also respects all of the other characters. So it's not just about Superman as a lone wolf saving and solving all of the problems. It emphasizes that being a good person is caring about others, but it also means that to be a good person, you are in a community of people and that you have to care about and rely on other people. And that's part of what makes Superman a good person. I think that most of the twists in this movie are very rooted in the comic books, but still pack a punch, even if you know some of these ideas previously. All of that to say, this movie is pretty remarkable. The special effects and action sequences generally work really well, have lots of impact. I think we're all used to superheroes, and this has just enough style and originality and impact to give these action sequences weight. All of that said, I think that there are a few scenes that don't work as well as others. There's one action sequence in particular where Superman is like swept up in a wave or a stream of antimatter, I believe, that felt like a bit of a stretch and even kind of a cliche-ish type situation that didn't translate to film quite as well as I think James Gunn imagined it would. But besides that, most of the action sequences are really effective and work. There are a few lines in the film that don't quite land as well as they probably should, but generally speaking, the humor and the drama all work really well, and I was genuinely and generally moved by a lot of the concepts and ideas in the film. It tackles certain things in sort of a broad way, but I think that works for a Superman film. That's some of my thoughts. Hopefully you'll get out to the theater to see it. I definitely think it's worth seeing. I personally like it the most out of any of Superman film that I've seen. Is it my favorite James Gunn film? I'm not quite sure, but it's still very solid. I would still want to see another movie in the DC universe, even though I'm the type of person who's like pretty sick of superhero movies. This one was enjoyable enough to where it didn't really matter. It was so skillfully made and like respected my intelligence and explored ideas in interesting ways and was a light and fun enough experience that superheroes can be worth your time even if they've been done a million times before. Thanks for watching my review. I will be reviewing more stuff soon.